Hello everyone, welcome to the second episode of the devlog of Chiaroscuro. Today I'm showing you this dynamic crosshair system. Can change dynamically in your time of play. So you have different shapes. You have like hexagons, squares, triangles, circles, all these different shapes, and the crosshair would morph between them, and each of the shapes have its own like animations, like breathing, like this pausing or flashing animation that can change its size, etc. And these are all like including rotation, and if all these animations can blend seamlessly, pretty smoothly. And the second feature is this color inversion. So in any time, in any scenarios of the game, you will see your crosshair clearly without being distracted. So yeah, just to demo. So in this case, right, this is like a common lever or button object, and the player can see that crosshair turn into that circle, and it's like this little pausing effect that's showing, indicating this thing is interactable, and the player can click on it and respond to the action. And different things come with different shapes and animations as well. So for example, here we got this like movable or like grabbable object. This is a cube, and you can see the crosshair is like an upward pointing triangle. And then if you so it come with the meaning that this thing is pickable. You can pick it up, right? And then if you pick it up and then the crosshair turn into something like up downwards triangle, that means you can put it down, of course, right? So this is like a subtle hint to the player that what they can do to this object they're holding or aiming at. So in this case, it's like a controllable interacting object. You can see this is more of a hex shape, either filled or unfilled, depending on the state. So if you're in the control mode, you can see that it's like a filled state and it's slightly rotating, indicating the action you can give to this object, which is rotated. Yeah, all these kind of crosshairs are customizable to every other possible interaction objects as in the game as well. What color, the size, the rotation, the animation. This whole system of rendering the crosshair is based on the shader code, the SDF sign distance field shader code, which is not relying on the traditional UI, Unity UI or like Unity UGUI, including everything from its shape, the anti-aliasing, the blur, the outline, the thickness of the shape, can all achieve to be like crisp, clear in no matter of the resolution. So this is one of the benefits of using the SDF to render the crosshair. So you can see in the editor, we can manage these pretty handily through scripted objects. We have defined shapes and animations independently. In shapes, we have different settings like the type of shape, polygon, different counts, size of polygons. We have size or thickness, rotation, whether it's filled or not, can also be adjusted independently and be saved as a scripted object so that it can be swapped dynamically in the runtime. And after you change the settings or create new ones in the script object, you just hit the generate shader code here so that the script will run and then the corresponding shader code will be generated dynamically and be together into the overall big shader that is used to render the crosshair. And everything here is animation, including the blending mode, the size, the rotation, the alpha, and color are all be able to animate it. And then here in the shaders folder, we can see all these procedurally generated SDF code for the shape and animation definition. So for example, here is the just a mathematical formula to describe what shape it is. So in this case, the circle. Uh, and same for the other shapes as well. And just to show how it's achieved, so we pause the game and see there's a second camera that's do all this crosshair rendering. And then we place a simple quad in front of this second camera. And what it does is just to render the dynamically created material onto this quad to render this crosshair. And then the camera would solely capture this quad and then put its rendering result on top of our main game camera. So this brings the benefit of rendering the color inversion of the crosshair. So it uses this grab pass feature of the shader, which essentially captures the whole screen before rendering our crosshair, and then save it as a texture. And later on, when rendering the crosshair, we use this texture to get what color it is for this part of the screen. And then we can do some like simple calculation just to invert the color of it, or dynamically change the color of crosshair to let it show clearly on the screen. So this dynamic crosshair system sort of become like a tutorial character, but quite silent until you need it. It teaches the player our light and shadow mechanics without the excessive text, and also stays visible for colorblind players as well via color inversion. And the overall SDF rendering core keeps it sharp across resolutions and lightning extremes. If you like this devlog and want more content of this in the future, please follow along and wishlist Chiaroscuro on Steam. Thank you.